Question 1. The control framework reveals that a commercial driver operating a doubles combination hears an unusual popping sound from the rear of the trailer while on a highway. The driver is concerned about maintaining their delivery schedule. Which of the following actions best optimizes the driver's response to ensure safety and regulatory compliance? Option A. Rely on the absence of dashboard warning lights to indicate that the equipment is functioning correctly. Option B. Attempt a quick visual check of the trailer connections while still moving slowly in the right lane. Option C. Immediately pull over to a safe location off the roadway to conduct a thorough inspection of all coupling devices and air lines. Option D. Continue driving to the next scheduled stop, assuming the sound is minor and will not impact safety. The correct answer is C. Immediately pull over to a safe location off the roadway to conduct a thorough inspection of all coupling devices and air lines. Explanation. Scenario analysis. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires a commercial driver to balance the immediate need to maintain a schedule with the paramount importance of safety when operating a doubles or triples combination. The driver must make a critical judgment call regarding the operational integrity of their equipment under pressure, without direct supervision. This demands a proactive approach to identifying potential issues before they escalate into safety hazards. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach, which involves immediately pulling over to a safe location to conduct a thorough inspection of the coupling devices and air lines, represents best professional practice. This aligns directly with Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, Part 396, specifically concerning inspection and maintenance. The regulations mandate that drivers ensure their vehicles are in safe operating condition before and during trips. By prioritizing a detailed inspection upon noticing an anomaly, the driver is adhering to their legal responsibility to prevent unsafe operation, thereby safeguarding themselves, other road users, and the cargo. This proactive measure is ethically sound as it prioritizes public safety over expediency. Incorrect approach is analysis. One incorrect approach is to continue driving, assuming the noise is minor and will not affect safety. This directly violates FMCSR Part 396.13, which requires drivers to inspect their vehicles and ensure they are in safe operating condition. Ignoring a potential coupling issue, especially with doubles or triples, creates a significant risk of equipment separation, leading to severe accidents, property damage, and potential fatalities. This demonstrates a failure to uphold professional responsibility and ethical duty to public safety. Another incorrect approach is to attempt a quick, superficial check while still in traffic. This is insufficient for a doubles or triples combination where multiple coupling points and air lines are involved. A proper inspection requires the vehicle to be stationary in a safe location where all connections can be visually and physically examined without the risk of being struck by other vehicles. This superficial check fails to meet the regulatory standard for a pre-trip or en route inspection and could miss critical defects, leading to an unsafe condition. A third incorrect approach is to rely solely on the assumption that the equipment is functioning correctly because no warning lights are illuminated. While warning lights are important indicators, they do not detect all potential mechanical failures, especially those related to physical connections or air leaks that might manifest as unusual noises. The driver's responsibility extends beyond relying on dashboard indicators to actively verifying the physical integrity of the vehicle. This approach neglects the driver's duty to perform a comprehensive inspection as mandated by regulations. Professional reasoning. Professionals in this situation should employ a decision-making process that prioritizes safety and regulatory compliance above all else. This involves 1. Recognizing any deviation from normal vehicle operation, e.g., unusual noises. 2. Immediately assessing the potential safety implications of the deviation. 3. If there is any doubt about safety, ceasing operation and conducting a thorough inspection in a safe location. 4. Documenting the findings and any necessary repairs. This systematic approach ensures that potential hazards are identified and mitigated before they compromise safety or lead to regulatory violations. Question 2. Implementation of a commercial driver's license endorsement for operating doubles and triples requires a driver to understand the distinct regulatory requirements for each configuration. A driver is preparing to operate a tractor pulling 2 full-length trailers. Based on the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, What is the most critical factor in determining the specific operational and equipment regulations that apply? Option A, the type of coupling device used between the trailers. Option B, the total length of the entire vehicle combination. Option C, whether the combination consists of 2 or 3 trailers. Option D, the gross vehicle weight rating of the tractor. The correct answer is B, the total length of the entire vehicle combination. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because a commercial driver operating a doubles or triples combination must possess a thorough understanding of the specific regulations governing each type of combination to ensure safe and legal operation. The challenge lies in correctly identifying and applying the appropriate rules based on the configuration of the towed units, as different combinations may have distinct requirements regarding vehicle marking, braking systems, and coupling devices. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it demonstrates adherence to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, specifically related to doubles and triples. By correctly identifying the combination as a triples unit, the driver ensures compliance with regulations that may mandate specific types of braking systems, e.g., independent braking on all trailers, or require specific placarding and identification that differ from doubles configurations. This proactive and accurate identification prevents potential violations and promotes safety by ensuring the vehicle is equipped and operated according to its specific configuration's requirements. An incorrect approach of treating a triples unit as a doubles unit is a significant regulatory failure. The FMCSR distinguish between doubles and triples, and each has unique safety requirements. For instance, triples often have more stringent requirements for trailer braking systems to manage the increased stopping distances and potential for jackknifing. Failing to recognize the triples configuration could lead to operating a vehicle that does not meet the minimum safety standards for that specific type of combination, potentially resulting in severe accidents and citations for operating an unsafe vehicle. Another incorrect approach of assuming all doubles/triples have identical requirements is also a regulatory failure. This oversimplification ignores the nuanced differences in regulations that exist between different types of doubles and triples, such as those involving different trailer lengths or types of coupling. This can lead to non-compliance with specific rules applicable only to certain configurations. Professional decision-making in such situations requires a systematic approach. First, accurately identify the type of combination being operated, doubles or triples, and if triples, the specific configuration. Second, consult the relevant sections of the FMCSR that specifically address the identified combination type. Third, verify that all equipment, placarding, and operational procedures meet the requirements for that specific configuration. This methodical process ensures that safety and regulatory compliance are prioritized. Question 3. The monitoring system demonstrates a sudden, unexpected obstacle directly ahead, requiring immediate emergency braking for a commercial vehicle combination consisting of a tractor and 2 trailers. Which of the following actions is the most appropriate emergency braking procedure to maintain control of the doubles/triples combination? Option A. Slam on all brakes simultaneously with maximum force. Option B. Apply the trailer brakes first, then gradually apply the tractor brakes. Option C. Lightly and intermittently apply the brakes while steering around the obstacle. Option D. Apply only the tractor brakes with maximum force. Correct answer is B. Apply the trailer brakes first, then gradually apply the tractor brakes. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because the driver of a doubles or triples combination vehicle must account for the increased stopping distances and potential for jackknifing inherent in longer combinations, especially during emergency braking. The presence of multiple trailers significantly amplifies the consequences of improper braking technique. Careful judgment is required to select the most effective and safest braking strategy to avoid loss of control and potential accidents. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it prioritizes maintaining control of the entire vehicle combination. By applying the trailer brakes first, the driver utilizes the braking force of the trailers to help slow the entire rig, which can mitigate the tendency of the tractor to push the trailers or the trailers to jackknife. This technique, when executed properly, allows for more controlled deceleration and reduces the risk of skidding or losing directional stability. This aligns with the fundamental principles of safe commercial vehicle operation, emphasizing control and stability during critical maneuvers. An incorrect approach of solely applying the tractor brakes first is professionally unacceptable because it can lead to the tractor brakes locking up prematurely, causing the tractor to lose traction and potentially push the trailers, leading to a jackknife. This violates the principle of controlled deceleration and increases the risk of losing control of the vehicle combination. Another incorrect approach, such as slamming on all brakes simultaneously without regard for the sequence, can overwhelm the available traction for all axles, leading to uncontrolled skidding and loss of steering control, which is a direct contravention of safe driving practices and regulatory expectations for preventing accidents. A third incorrect approach, such as feathering the brakes lightly and hoping for the best, is insufficient in an emergency situation and fails to apply adequate braking force to stop the vehicle safely and promptly, potentially leading to a collision due to inadequate deceleration. Professionals should use a decision-making framework that involves immediate hazard recognition, assessment of vehicle dynamics, especially for doubles/triples, and the application of established emergency braking techniques that prioritize control and stability. This includes understanding the specific braking characteristics of the vehicle configuration and reacting with a practiced, controlled response rather than a panicked, uncoordinated action. Question 4. Benchmark analysis indicates that commercial drivers operating doubles and triples face significant risks associated with coupling device integrity. When performing a pre-trip inspection of a fifth-wheel coupling device on a tractor-trailer combination, which of the following actions best exemplifies a thorough and compliant inspection process according to U.S. federal motor carrier safety regulations? Option A. Briefly looking at the fifth wheel from the driver's seat to confirm it appears to be in place before starting the engine. Option B. Performing a detailed inspection that includes checking the fifth wheel jaws for wear, ensuring the locking pin is fully engaged and secure, and verifying that the fifth wheel plate is free from cracks and excessive play. Option C. Visually inspecting the fifth wheel for obvious damage and ensuring the trailer's kingpin is seated, without physically testing the locking mechanism or checking for wear on the jaws. Option D. Relying on the previous driver's completed vehicle inspection report to confirm the fifth wheel's condition, without conducting an independent pre-trip inspection. The correct answer is C. Visually inspecting the fifth wheel for obvious damage and ensuring the trailer's kingpin is seated, without physically testing the locking mechanism or checking for wear on the jaws. Explanation. Scenario analysis. The scenario presents a common but critical situation for a commercial driver operating doubles or triples, ensuring the integrity of coupling devices before commencing a trip. The professional challenge lies in the potential for catastrophic failure if coupling devices are not properly inspected and maintained. A failure in the fifth wheel or pintle hook can lead to trailer separation, resulting in severe accidents, cargo damage, potential injuries or fatalities, and significant legal and financial repercussions for the driver and motor carrier. This demands meticulous attention to detail and a thorough understanding of the specific inspection requirements mandated by regulations. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach involves a systematic and comprehensive pre-trip inspection of all coupling devices, adhering strictly to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, Part 396, specifically Section 396.11, which mandates driver vehicle inspection reports and the general requirements for inspecting coupling devices as outlined in Section 393.40 and Section 393.41. This includes visually inspecting the fifth wheel for cracks, excessive wear, or damage to the locking mechanism, ensuring the kingpin is properly seated and locked, and checking for any loose or missing bolts. For pintle hooks, inspection involves verifying the hook is not bent or cracked, the latch mechanism is functioning correctly, and the pintle eye on the trailer is free from damage and securely attached. This approach represents best professional practice because it directly addresses the regulatory mandate for safe operation and preventative maintenance, minimizing the risk of equipment failure and ensuring compliance with federal law. It prioritizes safety above all else, reflecting the ethical responsibility of a commercial driver. Incorrect approach is analysis. One incorrect approach is to perform a cursory visual check without physically manipulating or testing the coupling mechanisms. This fails to identify internal damage or subtle issues that could lead to failure. It is a regulatory failure because it does not constitute a thorough inspection as implied by the intent of Section 396.11 and Section 393.40. Ethically, It demonstrates a lack of due diligence and a disregard for the safety of others. Another incorrect approach is to rely solely on the previous driver's inspection report without conducting an independent pre-trip inspection. While driver reports are important, they are not a substitute for the current driver's responsibility to ensure the vehicle's safety before operating it. This is a regulatory failure as it bypasses the driver's personal obligation to inspect. Ethically, it shifts responsibility inappropriately and can mask developing issues. A third incorrect approach is to only inspect the visible exterior of the coupling devices, neglecting to check for wear on the jaws of the fifth wheel or the pintle hook's locking pin, or to ensure the trailer's pintle eye is not deformed. This is a regulatory failure because a comprehensive inspection requires examining critical wear points. Ethically, it is negligent as it overlooks common failure points that could be detected with a more detailed examination. Professional reasoning. Professionals should approach pre-trip inspections with a mindset of proactive risk management. This involves understanding the critical safety functions of each component, particularly coupling devices, and systematically verifying their condition against regulatory standards and best practices. The decision-making process should prioritize safety, followed by compliance. Drivers should be trained to identify potential defects, understand the consequences of equipment failure, and know when to report issues and refuse to operate unsafe equipment. This involves a continuous cycle of learning, observation, and critical evaluation of the vehicle's condition before every trip. Question 5. Cost-benefit analysis shows that while faster uncoupling procedures might offer minor time savings, a driver is preparing to uncouple a doubles trailer combination at a busy truck stop. Which of the following actions, if taken to expedite the process, would most likely lead to a violation of Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, and create a significant safety hazard? Option A. Disconnecting the electrical and air lines between the tractor and the first trailer before verifying that the trailer's parking brakes are set and secured. Option B. Slowly backing the tractor away from the trailer after all connections have been safely secured and the trailer brakes have been released. Option C. Ensuring the parking brakes on both the tractor and the trailer are fully engaged and the wheels are chocked before disconnecting any air or electrical lines. Option D. Visually inspecting the fifth wheel coupling and locking mechanism to ensure it is properly disengaged and the trailer is stable. The correct answer is C. Ensuring the parking brakes on both the tractor and the trailer are fully engaged and the wheels are chocked before disconnecting any air or electrical lines. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because the uncoupling of a doubles or triples combination involves significant safety risks if not performed correctly. The driver must ensure the combination is stable, properly secured, and that all connections are safely disengaged to prevent unintended movement or separation, which could lead to accidents, property damage, or injury. Adherence to specific procedures is not just about efficiency, but is a critical safety mandate under federal regulations. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it prioritizes safety and regulatory compliance. Following the established step-by-step uncoupling procedure, which typically involves setting brakes, chocking wheels, and verifying securement before disconnecting air and electrical lines, directly aligns with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, designed to prevent accidents. This methodical approach ensures that each component of the combination is safely isolated and secured, minimizing the risk of uncontrolled movement. An incorrect approach that bypasses critical steps, such as failing to properly set the parking brakes on all units before uncoupling, represents a direct violation of FMCSR. This failure creates an immediate risk of the trailer rolling away, potentially causing a collision. Another incorrect approach, like disconnecting air lines before ensuring the trailer brakes are set and secured, can lead to unintended brake application or release, creating instability and a hazard. Disconnecting electrical lines prematurely can also interfere with brake control systems. These actions demonstrate a disregard for established safety protocols and regulatory requirements, leading to unsafe operating conditions and potential legal repercussions. Professionals should employ a decision-making framework that begins with a thorough understanding of the FMCSR pertaining to doubles and triples operations. Before initiating any uncoupling procedure, they must mentally review the required steps, assess the environment for potential hazards, e.g., slope, traffic, and ensure all necessary safety equipment is available. The decision to proceed with each step should be based on confirmation that the previous step has been completed correctly and safely, prioritizing regulatory compliance and the prevention of accidents above speed or convenience. Question 6. Investigation of the procedure for connecting and securing a pup trailer to a tractor-trailer combination reveals a driver performing several actions. Which of the following sequences of actions best demonstrates adherence to the absolute priority of regulatory compliance for safe operation? Option A. The driver confirms the pup trailer is aligned with the pintle hook, backs up until they feel contact, and then attaches the safety chain loosely. Option B. The driver relies on the audible click of the pintle hook to indicate a secure connection and attaches the safety chain without checking its tension. Option C. The driver ensures the pintle hook is fully closed and latched, connects the safety chain with some slack to allow for turning, and visually checks that the air and electrical lines are attached. Option D. The driver verifies the pintle hook's locking pin is fully engaged, attaches the safety chain with minimal slack, and performs a thorough inspection of the air and electrical lines for any signs of damage or improper connection. The correct answer is C. The driver ensures the pintle hook is fully closed and latched, connects the safety chain with some slack to allow for turning, and visually checks that the air and electrical lines are attached. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because the driver is responsible for ensuring the safe and legal connection and securing of a second trailer, a pup trailer, to an existing tractor-trailer combination. This process involves critical safety checks that, if performed incorrectly, can lead to severe accidents, cargo loss, and significant legal repercussions. The complexity arises from the need to accurately couple the pup trailer, ensure all safety devices are properly engaged, and verify the integrity of the air and electrical lines connecting the two trailers. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it meticulously follows the established procedures for connecting and securing a pup trailer as mandated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, in the United States. Specifically, it emphasizes verifying the locking pin engagement on the pintle hook, ensuring the safety chain is properly attached and has minimal slack, and confirming that the air and electrical lines are connected and free from damage or kinks. This thoroughness directly addresses the regulatory requirements designed to prevent trailer separation and ensure operational safety, thereby protecting the driver, the public, and the cargo. An incorrect approach that involves only visually confirming the pintle hook is closed without checking the locking pin's engagement is a regulatory failure. The FMCSR require positive locking mechanisms to be engaged. A visually closed hook without a secured pin means the trailer is not truly coupled and could detach. Another incorrect approach, such as connecting the safety chain but not ensuring it has minimal slack, is also a failure. Excessive slack can allow the trailer to drop too far if it detaches, increasing the risk of damage and loss of control. Furthermore, failing to inspect the air and electrical lines for damage or proper connection is a direct violation of regulations requiring all safety-critical systems to be in good working order. This oversight can lead to brake failure or loss of lighting on the pup trailer, creating a hazardous situation. Professionals should use a decision-making framework that prioritizes a systematic, checklist-driven approach to coupling and securing operations. This framework involves 1. Understanding the specific requirements for the type of trailer being coupled, pup trailer in this case. 2. Consulting and adhering strictly to the relevant FMCSR. 3. Performing a step-by-step physical inspection of all connection points and safety devices. 4. Verifying the functionality of all connected systems, air brakes, lights. 5. Documenting the inspection if required. This methodical process minimizes the risk of human error and ensures compliance with safety regulations. Question 7. What factors determine the acceptability of wear and damage on coupling components for commercial drivers licensed doubles/triples operations, as per Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA regulations? Option A. The driver's personal experience with similar-looking components that have not failed. Option B. Whether the coupling mechanism still appears to engage and disengage smoothly. Option C. The presence or absence of visible cracks, the degree of wear on critical surfaces, and any signs of deformation or missing hardware. Option D. The proximity of the next available repair facility and the urgency of the delivery schedule. The correct answer is C. The presence or absence of visible cracks, the degree of wear on critical surfaces, and any signs of deformation or missing hardware. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because the inspection of coupling components for wear and damage on doubles and triples trailers is a critical safety procedure mandated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration (FMCSA) regulations. Drivers are solely responsible for ensuring their vehicles are in safe operating condition before each trip. Misjudging the severity of wear or damage can lead to catastrophic equipment failure, resulting in accidents, cargo loss, and potential injuries or fatalities. The challenge lies in applying subjective judgment based on objective regulatory standards, requiring a thorough understanding of what constitutes acceptable versus unacceptable wear and damage. The correct approach emphasizes a systematic and thorough inspection of all coupling components, including pintle hooks, drawbars, safety chains, and their mounting hardware, for any signs of cracks, excessive wear, deformation, or missing parts. This aligns directly with FMCSA regulations, specifically 49 CFR Section 396.11 and Section 396.13, which require drivers to inspect their vehicles for defects that could affect safety. Best professional practice dictates a conservative approach, where any doubt about the integrity of a coupling component leads to its rejection or repair before operation. This proactive stance minimizes risk and upholds the driver's legal and ethical obligation to operate a safe vehicle. An incorrect approach that relies solely on the absence of visible cracks, without considering the depth or extent of wear, is a regulatory failure. FMCSA regulations do not limit inspection to just cracks. Excessive wear that compromises the structural integrity or securement of the coupling is equally dangerous and prohibited. Another incorrect approach, which is to assume that if the coupling still functions, it is safe, represents a significant ethical and regulatory failure. Functionality does not equate to safety. A worn or damaged component may still appear to function but could fail under stress. This overlooks the potential for hidden damage or weakened material. Finally, deferring the inspection to a mechanic without performing a thorough pre-trip inspection oneself is a direct violation of the driver's responsibility under 49 CFR Section 396.13. The driver is the first line of defense in ensuring vehicle safety. Professional decision-making in such situations requires a systematic approach. First, understanding the specific requirements of the FMCSA regarding coupling components. Second, conducting a hands-on, visual, and tactile inspection of each component. Third, comparing observed conditions against regulatory standards and manufacturer specifications. And fourth, erring on the side of caution by rejecting any component that raises safety concerns, even if it means delaying a trip. Question 8. When evaluating the pre-trip inspection requirements for a commercial driver operating a doubles or triples combination vehicle, which of the following actions best demonstrates adherence to regulatory mandates and professional safety standards? Option A. Concentrating the inspection efforts solely on the tractor's engine, brakes, and lights, with a brief glance at the trailers to ensure they are attached. Option B. Thoroughly inspecting all connections between the tractor and each trailer, including the dolly pintle hook, drawbars, and safety chains, in addition to checking the condition of each trailer's frame, tires, brakes, and lights. Option C. Verifying the operational status of the tractor systems, and then relying on the assumption that the trailers, if visually intact, pose no immediate safety risk. Option D. Performing a quick visual sweep of the entire vehicle combination, focusing primarily on the tractor and the external appearance of the trailers, assuming the previous driver's inspection was sufficient. The correct answer is B. Thoroughly inspecting all connections between the tractor and each trailer, including the dolly pintle hook, drawbars, and safety chains, in addition to checking the condition of each trailer's frame, tires, brakes, and lights. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires a commercial driver operating a doubles or triples combination vehicle to make critical judgments about the safety of their equipment based on a pre-trip inspection. The complexity of multiple trailers and their connections introduces more potential failure points than a single trailer, demanding a thorough and systematic inspection process. The driver's responsibility extends beyond simply identifying obvious defects. They must understand the functional implications of any findings on the safe operation of the entire combination. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it aligns directly with the regulatory mandate for pre-trip inspections as outlined in the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, specifically Part 396, Subpart A, which covers inspection, repair, and maintenance. This approach prioritizes the driver's understanding of the specific components unique to doubles and triples, such as dolly pintles, drawbar connection, and the condition of all trailer frames and underride guards. By focusing on these critical areas and ensuring they are free from defects that could affect safe operation, the driver is fulfilling their legal and ethical obligation to operate a safe vehicle. This proactive stance prevents potential accidents, protects the public, and avoids costly breakdowns and regulatory penalties. An incorrect approach that involves only a cursory visual check of the trailer exteriors without verifying the integrity of the connections between the units is a significant regulatory and ethical failure. This overlooks the specific vulnerabilities of doubles and triples, such as potential drawbar failures or dolly malfunctions, which are not always apparent from a distance. This failure violates FMCSR 396.11, which mandates a thorough pre-trip inspection. Ethically, it demonstrates a disregard for the safety of other road users and the cargo being transported. Another incorrect approach, which is to assume that if the previous driver performed an inspection, it is still adequate, is also a regulatory and ethical failure. Each driver is independently responsible for ensuring their vehicle is safe to operate before they begin their trip, regardless of previous inspections. This assumption bypasses the driver's personal duty of care and is a direct contravention of the FMCSR, requiring an independent pre-trip inspection by the driver operating the vehicle. Finally, an incorrect approach that focuses solely on the tractor's condition and assumes the trailers are inherently safe if they appear outwardly intact is a critical oversight. The integration of multiple trailers creates a complex system where the failure of any single component in any trailer can compromise the entire combination. This approach neglects the specific inspection requirements for the multiple trailer configurations, such as checking the condition of the dolly, the pintle hook, and the drawbar, all of which are crucial for the safe operation of doubles and triples. This demonstrates a lack of understanding of the unique safety considerations for these vehicle types and a failure to comply with the spirit and letter of the FMCSR. The professional decision-making process for similar situations involves a systematic, detailed, and safety-first mindset. Drivers must internalize the specific inspection requirements for their vehicle configuration, understanding that doubles and triples demand a higher level of scrutiny due to their inherent complexity. They should consult their company's policies and the FMCSR regularly to stay updated. When in doubt about the condition of any component, the safest and most professional course of action is to err on the side of caution, report the issue, and refuse to operate the vehicle until it is deemed safe by qualified personnel. Question 9. System analysis indicates that a commercial driver operating a doubles configuration is approaching a segment of a state highway that is not a designated interstate or U.S. highway. The driver has general knowledge of the state's highway system, but has not specifically researched restrictions for doubles or triples on this particular state route. What is the most appropriate and legally compliant course of action? Option A. Proceed with caution, assuming the roadway is permissible for doubles unless a specific prohibition sign is encountered. Option B. Immediately consult official state transportation department resources or signage for any posted restrictions or prohibitions regarding doubles/triples on this specific roadway before proceeding. Option C. Rely on past experience driving similar state highways in the region, as restrictions are generally consistent. Option D. Contact dispatch to ask for their general opinion on the permissibility of doubles on state highways. The correct answer is A. Proceed with caution, assuming the roadway is permissible for doubles unless a specific prohibition sign is encountered. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because operating doubles and triples involves a higher degree of complexity and risk compared to single trailers. Drivers must possess a thorough understanding of specific roadway restrictions and legal requirements to ensure safety and compliance. The challenge lies in accurately identifying and adhering to these restrictions, which can vary significantly based on the type of roadway, vehicle configuration, and local ordinances. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it prioritizes adherence to all applicable federal, state, and local regulations governing the operation of doubles and triples. This includes understanding and respecting posted restrictions on specific roadways, such as those prohibiting certain vehicle lengths or configurations due to sharp curves, steep grades, or bridge weight limits. A driver who meticulously checks and follows these restrictions demonstrates a commitment to public safety and regulatory compliance, which are paramount in commercial driving. This proactive approach minimizes the risk of accidents, citation, and damage to infrastructure. An incorrect approach that involves assuming a roadway is permissible for doubles/triples without verification is a significant regulatory and ethical failure. This demonstrates a disregard for established safety protocols and legal mandates. Such an assumption can lead to operating in prohibited areas, resulting in potential accidents, damage to the vehicle and cargo, and severe legal consequences, including fines, license suspension, and even criminal charges. Ethically, it breaches the duty of care owed to the public and other road users. Another incorrect approach, such as relying solely on general knowledge of highway systems without consulting specific signage or official route restrictions, is also a failure. While a driver may have extensive experience, specific routes can have unique, localized restrictions that are not universally known. Failing to consult these specific restrictions is a lapse in due diligence and can lead to the same negative outcomes as the first incorrect approach. A professional decision-making process for similar situations involves a multi-step approach. 1. Pre-trip planning. Thoroughly review route maps, noting any known restrictions for doubles/triples. Consult official state and local transportation department websites for updated regulations and advisories. 2. On-road vigilance. Continuously observe and obey all posted traffic signs, especially those indicating vehicle length, weight, or configuration restrictions. 3. Communication. If unsure about a specific restriction or roadway, contact the motor carrier for guidance or consult local law enforcement or transportation authorities if safe to do so. 4. Vehicle configuration awareness. Always be mindful of the specific dimensions and weight of the doubles/triples configuration being operated and how it might interact with potential roadway limitations. Question 10. Compliance review shows a commercial driver operating a doubles configuration with 2 trailers. Trailer 1 contains 500 pounds of a Class 3 flammable liquid, and Trailer 2 contains 700 pounds of the same Class 3 flammable liquid. The shipping papers are accurate and complete. According to U.S. DOT regulations for placarding, what is the driver's primary responsibility regarding placarding for this shipment? Option A. Ensure only the power unit is placarded, as the trailers themselves do not require placarding for this quantity. Option B. Ensure only Trailer 2 is placarded with the appropriate Class 3 placard, as it contains the larger individual quantity. Option C. No placarding is required, as the hazardous material is split between 2 trailers. Option D. Ensure the power unit is placarded with the appropriate Class 3 placard, as the total quantity of the flammable liquid exceeds the threshold requiring placarding on the power unit. Correct answer is D. Ensure the power unit is placarded with the appropriate Class 3 placard, as the total quantity of the flammable liquid exceeds the threshold requiring placarding on the power unit. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because it requires a driver to make a critical judgment call regarding placarding requirements for a complex vehicle configuration, doubles/triples, carrying hazardous materials. The driver must not only understand the general placarding rules, but also how they apply specifically to the combined units, ensuring compliance with U.S. Department of Transportation regulations as outlined in the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR. The challenge lies in accurately identifying the total quantity of hazardous material requiring placarding across all trailers, and applying the correct placard to the power unit and/or trailers as mandated by law. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it prioritizes safety and regulatory adherence above all else. By correctly identifying that the total quantity of the hazardous material in the shipment exceeds the threshold requiring placarding on the power unit, and by ensuring the correct placard is displayed, driver is fulfilling their legal obligation and contributing to public safety by clearly communicating the hazard to emergency responders and the public. This aligns with the ethical responsibility of a commercial driver to operate safely and in accordance with all applicable laws. An incorrect approach that fails to placard the vehicle when the total quantity of hazardous material exceeds the threshold is a direct violation of FMCSR Part 172. Subpart F. This failure creates a significant safety risk by not alerting other road users or emergency personnel to the presence of hazardous materials, potentially leading to improper responses in the event of an incident. Ethically, This demonstrates a disregard for the safety of the public and the driver's own well-being. Another incorrect approach might involve placarding only one of the trailers, even if the total quantity across both trailers necessitates placarding the power unit. This is incorrect because FMCSR specify placarding requirements based on the total quantity of a specific hazardous material in the entire transport vehicle, which in the case of doubles/triples includes all attached trailers. Failing to placard the power unit when required is a regulatory failure. A third incorrect approach could be using an incorrect placard for the specific hazardous material being transported. This is a serious regulatory violation under FMCSR Part 172, Subpart E, and can lead to dangerous situations if emergency responders are given incorrect information about the hazard. It undermines the entire purpose of the placarding system, which is to provide accurate and immediate hazard identification. Professionals should employ a decision-making framework that begins with a thorough understanding of the shipping papers and the hazardous materials being transported. This includes identifying the proper shipping name, hazard class, UN/NA identification number, and the quantity of each hazardous material. Next, they must consult the placarding tables in FMCSR Part 172, 504 to determine the placarding requirements based on the total quantity of each hazardous material in the transport vehicle. For doubles and triples, it is crucial to aggregate the quantities from all trailers. If the aggregated quantity meets or exceeds the threshold for placarding, the driver must ensure the correct placard is displayed on the power unit and or trailers as specified by the regulations. In cases of doubt, consulting with the shipper or carrier's hazardous materials safety officer is the most responsible course of action. Question 11. The evaluation methodology shows that during a pre-trip inspection of a doubles/triples combination vehicle, a commercial driver notices a faint but audible hiss from the air brake system, and the air pressure gauge drops slightly when the brakes are released. Which of the following actions best demonstrates adherence to federal regulations and professional safety standards for commercial drivers? Option A. Attempt to locate the source of the hiss and tighten any visible fittings to stop the leak before proceeding. Option B. Continue the trip, assuming the hiss is minor and the slight pressure drop is within acceptable operational limits for air brakes. Option C. Note the hiss and pressure drop in the logbook but proceed with the trip, planning to have it checked at the next scheduled maintenance stop. Option D. Report the suspected air leak to a supervisor and refuse to operate the vehicle until it is inspected and repaired by a qualified mechanic. The correct answer is D. Report the suspected air leak to a supervisor and refuse to operate the vehicle until it is inspected and repaired by a qualified mechanic. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires a commercial driver to make a critical judgment call regarding the operational readiness of a complex braking system under time pressure, directly impacting safety and regulatory compliance. The driver must not only understand the theoretical principles of air brake systems, but also apply them in a practical, real-world context, adhering strictly to federal regulations. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it prioritizes safety and regulatory compliance above all else. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, mandate that drivers perform pre-trip inspections to ensure their vehicle is in safe operating condition. For doubles/triples combination, this includes a thorough check of the air brake system, specifically looking for leaks and proper application/release. A driver who correctly identifies and addresses a potential air brake leak before commencing their trip is upholding their legal and ethical responsibility to operate a safe vehicle, preventing potential accidents and avoiding violations. This proactive approach aligns with the intent of the FMCSR, which are designed to prevent commercial vehicle accidents. An incorrect approach that involves ignoring a noticeable air leak or assuming it will resolve itself is a direct violation of FMCSR Part 396, specifically the requirement for pre-trip inspections and ensuring the vehicle is in safe operating condition. Ethically, it demonstrates a disregard for the safety of the driver, other motorists, and the public. Another incorrect approach, such as attempting a temporary fix without proper knowledge or tools, also poses a significant risk. While seemingly an attempt to resolve the issue, it could lead to a more severe failure or mask a deeper problem, still violating the spirit and letter of the regulations that require a fully functional and safe braking system. Professionals should employ a decision-making framework that begins with a thorough understanding of the pre-trip inspection requirements as outlined in the FMCSR. When a potential issue is identified, the driver must then assess the severity based on their training and the specific symptoms. If the issue compromises the safety or legality of the vehicle's operation, the driver's immediate responsibility is to report the defect and refuse to operate the vehicle until it is repaired by a qualified mechanic. This systematic approach ensures that safety and compliance are never compromised. Question 12. Quality control measures reveal a driver preparing to connect the first lead trailer to their tractor. The driver has successfully backed the tractor to the trailer, and the trailer's air and electrical lines are connected. Which of the following actions, if performed as the next step, best demonstrates adherence to proper procedures for connecting the lead trailer? Option A. Physically check that the fifth wheel jaws are fully locked onto the kingpin. Ensure the safety chain is properly attached with no slack, and verify the air and electrical lines are securely connected and free from strain. Option B. Ensure the air and electrical lines are connected and then perform a tug test to confirm the fifth wheel is locked. Option C. Connect the safety chain and air/electrical lines, then perform a visual check of the fifth wheel jaws. Option D. Visually inspect the fifth wheel jaws to ensure they are closed, and then proceed to connect the safety chain and air/electrical lines. The correct answer is D. Visually inspect the fifth wheel jaws to ensure they are closed, and then proceed to connect the safety chain and air/electrical lines. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because the proper connection of the lead trailer is a critical safety step in operating a doubles or triples combination. A failure in this connection can lead to trailer separation, loss of control, and severe accidents. The driver must possess a thorough understanding of the mechanical and safety procedures involved, adhering strictly to regulations to ensure the integrity of the coupling. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it involves a systematic, multi-point inspection that directly addresses the requirements for secure and safe connection, as mandated by Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration (FMCSA) regulations for commercial vehicles, specifically concerning doubles and triples. This includes verifying the fifth wheel jaws are locked, the kingpin is fully seated, the safety chain or cable is properly attached and has no slack, and the electrical and air lines are connected and secured without strain. This comprehensive check minimizes the risk of coupling failure. An incorrect approach that skips the safety chain inspection is a regulatory failure because FMCSA regulations require safety devices to be properly attached and functional. Failing to ensure the safety chain has no slack creates a significant risk of the trailer separating from the tractor if the primary coupling fails, as the chain will not be able to effectively restrain the trailer. Another incorrect approach, such as only visually confirming the fifth wheel jaws are closed without physically checking for a secure lock, is a procedural and regulatory failure. Visual confirmation alone can be misleading. A physical check, e.g., tug test or visual confirmation of the locking mechanism indicator, is necessary to ensure the jaws have fully engaged and locked onto the kingpin, which is a fundamental requirement for a safe coupling. A further incorrect approach, like connecting air and electrical lines before fully seating the trailer and locking the fifth wheel, is a safety and regulatory failure. The sequence can lead to damage to the lines or improper connection, and more importantly, it bypasses critical safety checks that must be completed before the trailer is considered secured. The driver's professional decision-making process should involve a mental checklist, informed by the FMCSA specific requirements for coupling and uncoupling, and a commitment to performing each step thoroughly and verifying its completion before proceeding to the next. This systematic approach, prioritizing safety and regulatory compliance, is paramount. Question 13. The performance metrics show a consistent pattern of drivers of doubles and triples combinations experiencing minor trailer sway when navigating sweeping curves on a dry highway. Which of the following driver actions best demonstrates adherence to safe operating practices and regulatory requirements for managing this situation? Option A. Gradually reducing speed before entering the curve and making smooth, controlled steering inputs to maintain the vehicle's path. Option B. Maintaining current speed and making small, rapid steering adjustments to counteract the sway. Option C. Accelerating slightly through the curve to maintain momentum and straighten the trailers. Option D. Applying the brakes firmly and steering sharply to correct the perceived drift. The correct answer is A. gradually reducing speed before entering the curve and making smooth, controlled steering inputs to maintain the vehicle's path. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because the driver of a doubles or triples combination vehicle must constantly assess and adapt to changing road conditions, which are amplified by the increased length and weight of their rig. The inherent instability of multiple trailers, especially during turns or on uneven surfaces, demands a higher level of vigilance and proactive decision-making than for a single trailer vehicle. Failure to adjust speed and steering appropriately can lead to jackknifing, trailer sway, rollovers, or loss of control, all of which pose significant safety risks and regulatory violations. The correct approach, which involves anticipating potential hazards and making gradual, controlled adjustments to speed and steering, represents best professional practice because it directly aligns with the core principles of safe commercial driving, as outlined by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration (FMCSA) regulations for doubles and triples endorsements. Specifically, FMCSA regulations emphasize the need for drivers to maintain control of their vehicle at all times, which includes understanding how factors like road surface, curves, and weather impact vehicle dynamics. Proactive speed reduction before entering a curve and smooth steering inputs are critical for managing the momentum and articulation points of multiple trailers, thereby preventing dangerous situations and ensuring compliance with safe driving practices. An incorrect approach, such as braking abruptly while turning, represents a significant regulatory and ethical failure. FMCSA regulations implicitly and explicitly discourage sudden maneuvers that can lead to loss of control. Abrupt braking in a turn can cause the trailers to jackknife or push the tractor, leading to a loss of control and potential accidents. This demonstrates a failure to apply knowledge of vehicle dynamics specific to doubles and triples, violating the duty of care owed to the public and other road users. Another incorrect approach, such as overcorrecting steering when encountering a slight drift, is also professionally unacceptable. Overcorrection amplifies the instability of a doubles or triples rig, increasing the likelihood of trailer sway or even a rollover. This indicates a lack of understanding of how to make precise, controlled steering inputs necessary for managing a multi-trailer combination, again violating the fundamental safety requirements of operating such vehicles. Finally, an incorrect approach of maintaining a high speed on a wet or icy road surface without making any adjustments is a direct contravention of safe driving principles and FMCSA guidance. Reduced traction significantly increases stopping distances and the risk of skidding. Failing to reduce speed in such conditions demonstrates a disregard for the altered vehicle dynamics and the increased risk of accidents, constituting a serious breach of professional responsibility and regulatory compliance. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a continuous cycle of observation, anticipation, and controlled action. Drivers must actively scan the road ahead for potential hazards, consider the specific characteristics of their doubles or triples combination, and make proactive adjustments to speed and steering well in advance of encountering challenging conditions. This requires a deep understanding of vehicle dynamics, adherence to FMCSA regulations, and a commitment to prioritizing safety above all else. Question 14. Cost-benefit analysis shows that reducing speed and increasing following distance when encountering strong crosswinds significantly reduces the risk of jackknifing and trailer sway with doubles and triples. But drivers often resist these measures due to perceived time losses. Which of the following driver actions best demonstrates an understanding of the effects of wind on doubles/triples stability and adheres to regulatory requirements for safe operation? Option A. Reducing speed significantly, increasing following distance, and making smooth, deliberate steering adjustments to counteract wind forces. Option B. Relying on the trailer's air brakes to correct any sudden lateral movement caused by wind. Option C. Maintaining normal highway speed but gripping the steering wheel tighter to compensate for wind gusts. Option D. Continuing to drive at the posted speed limit, assuming personal driving skill is sufficient to manage wind effects. The correct answer is C. Maintaining normal highway speed but gripping the steering wheel tighter to compensate for wind gusts. Explanation: scenario analysis. This scenario is professionally challenging because understanding and mitigating the effects of wind on doubles and triples is a critical safety concern for commercial drivers operating these complex vehicle configurations. The inherent instability of multiple trailers, especially when subjected to lateral wind forces, requires a driver to possess a deep conceptual understanding beyond simply knowing the rules. The challenge lies in translating theoretical knowledge into practical, real-time driving decisions that prevent accidents, particularly in adverse weather conditions. A driver must anticipate wind effects, not just react to them, which demands a proactive and informed approach to vehicle control. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach emphasizes proactive driver action based on an understanding of how wind impacts the entire vehicle train. This involves recognizing that wind can push the rear trailers independently, leading to jackknifing or trailer sway. Best professional practice dictates that drivers should reduce speed significantly when encountering strong crosswinds, increase following distance to allow for greater reaction time, and maintain a firm grip on the steering wheel to counteract sudden gusts. This approach aligns with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, Part 392, specifically concerning safe driving practices and the driver's responsibility to operate their vehicle safely under all conditions, including adverse weather. It reflects a commitment to preventing accidents by anticipating and managing risks, which is a core ethical and professional obligation for CDL holders. Incorrect approaches analysis. One incorrect approach involves assuming that standard driving speeds are safe regardless of wind conditions. This fails to acknowledge the amplified effect of wind on the longer, more flexible doubles and triples configurations compared to single vehicles. This directly contravenes the spirit and intent of FMCSR that mandates safe operation, as it demonstrates a lack of awareness of the specific hazards associated with these vehicle types in wind. Ethically, it represents negligence by prioritizing speed or convenience over safety. Another incorrect approach is to rely solely on the trailer's air brakes to correct for wind-induced instability. While air brakes are crucial for stopping, they are not designed to counteract the lateral forces of wind on a moving trailer train. Over-reliance on braking can lead to loss of control, jackknifing, or skidding, especially if applied abruptly. This approach is a regulatory failure because it misapplies the function of braking systems and demonstrates a lack of understanding of vehicle dynamics, which is essential for safe operation under FMCSR Part 392. A third incorrect approach is to ignore wind advisories or warnings, believing that personal driving skill is sufficient to overcome any wind condition. This demonstrates a dangerous overconfidence and a disregard for external factors that can significantly compromise vehicle stability. It is an ethical failure to dismiss safety information and a regulatory failure to not adapt driving practices to prevailing conditions as required by safe operation mandates. Professional reasoning. Professionals should adopt a decision-making process that prioritizes safety and regulatory compliance. This involves continuous situational awareness, including monitoring weather forecasts and observing environmental cues like wind direction and intensity. When wind conditions are present or anticipated, drivers should proactively adjust their speed, following distance and steering input. They should consult their vehicle's operating manual and any specific training materials related to doubles and triples operation. If conditions become too hazardous, the professional decision is to pull over safely and wait for conditions to improve, rather than risking an accident. This proactive, informed, and adaptable approach is the hallmark of professional commercial driving. Question 15. System analysis indicates that a commercial driver operating a doubles combination is approaching a moderate downhill grade. The driver notices that the tractor brakes alone are not providing sufficient stopping power, and the vehicle is starting to gain speed. The driver needs to safely control the descent and bring the vehicle to a stop, which action best utilizes the trailer brake control valve to ensure safe operation. Option A. Gently and progressively pull out the trailer air supply control knob to apply the trailer brakes, supplementing the tractor brakes for controlled deceleration. Option B. Rapidly and repeatedly push and pull the trailer air supply control knob to create intermittent braking action. Option C. Ignore the trailer air supply control knob and rely solely on the tractor brakes to manage the descent. Option D. Continuously hold the trailer air supply control knob, fully pulled out to maximize trailer braking force. Correct answer is A. Gently and progressively pull out the trailer air supply control knob to apply the trailer brakes, supplementing the tractor brakes for controlled deceleration. Explanation. Scenario analysis. This scenario is professionally challenging because it involves a critical safety system on a commercial vehicle combination, the trailer brake system. A driver operating doubles or triples must understand the nuances of how these brakes function independently and in conjunction with the tractor's braking system. Misunderstanding or improper use can lead to severe consequences, including jackknifing, loss of control, and accidents. The complexity increases with multiple trailers, as each trailer's brake system and control valve must be correctly engaged and adjusted. The driver's judgment is paramount in ensuring the vehicle operates safely under various conditions, especially during braking. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach involves understanding that the trailer brake control valve, often referred to as the trolley valve or air brake control, is used to apply and release the trailer brakes independently of the tractor brakes. When the driver pulls out the trailer air supply control knob, it exhausts air from the trailer air tank, applying the trailer brakes. Pushing it in releases the trailer brakes. This independent control is crucial for fine-tuning braking, especially when backing up or when the trailer brakes need to be applied before or after the tractor brakes for stability. Proper use ensures that the trailer brakes contribute to stopping power without causing instability or premature wear. This aligns with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, concerning air brake systems, which mandate that drivers understand and properly operate all components of the air brake system, including trailer controls. Incorrect approaches analysis. One incorrect approach is to assume the trailer brake control valve is solely for parking or emergency braking and should only be used in those situations. This is a failure to understand the operational capabilities of the system. The valve is designed for service braking of the trailer, allowing for more precise control and stability during normal stops. Relying solely on the tractor brakes or the trailer's automatic application during a service brake application can lead to uneven braking and loss of control, violating FMCSR related to safe operation and proper use of braking systems. Another incorrect approach is to constantly keep the trailer brake control knob pulled out, effectively keeping the trailer brakes applied at all times. This is a severe operational error. The trailer brakes are designed to be applied and released as needed. Keeping them constantly applied will significantly reduce stopping distance, cause excessive wear on trailer brake components, and can lead to trailer lockup, especially in slippery conditions, increasing the risk of jackknifing. This directly contravenes the FMCSR that require drivers to operate their vehicles in a manner that ensures safety and prevents undue wear on equipment. A third incorrect approach is to manipulate the trailer brake control valve rapidly and erratically during normal braking. While some modulation might be necessary in specific situations, constant, jerky movements indicate a lack of understanding of how air pressure affects the trailer brakes. This can lead to unpredictable braking behavior, making it difficult for other drivers to anticipate the vehicle's actions and potentially causing accidents. It also suggests a failure to properly assess the vehicle's braking dynamics, a core requirement for safe commercial driving under FMCSR. Professional reasoning. Professionals should approach the use of trailer brakes and control valves with a thorough understanding of their function within the overall air brake system. This involves 1. Understanding the purpose of each air brake control, including the trailer air supply valve, and how it interacts with the tractor brakes. 2. Practicing smooth and controlled application and release of the trailer brakes during normal driving and braking maneuvers. 3. Recognizing when independent trailer brake application is beneficial for stability, such as during backing or when anticipating a need for trailer braking assistance. 4. Regularly inspecting and testing the trailer brake system to ensure it is functioning correctly, as mandated by FMCSR. 5. Continuously seeking knowledge and training on advanced braking techniques and the operation of complex air brake systems, especially for multi-trailer configurations. Question 16. The audit findings indicate that a commercial driver operating a doubles configuration reported a noticeable pulling sensation to the left during braking on their last pre-trip inspection, but proceeded with their scheduled route. What is the most appropriate regulatory and safety-compliant action the driver should have taken immediately upon detecting this symptom? Option A. Attempt a minor adjustment to the trailer brake controls to compensate for the pulling sensation. Option B. Document the pulling sensation in the vehicle condition report but proceed with the trip as planned, assuming it is a minor issue. Option C. Continue the trip but monitor the braking performance closely, planning to address the issue at the next scheduled stop. Option D. Cease operation of the vehicle and ensure the brake system defect is corrected before continuing the trip. The correct answer is D. Cease operation of the vehicle and ensure the brake system defect is corrected before continuing the trip. Explanation: this scenario presents a professional challenge because a driver operating a commercial vehicle with a doubles or triples configuration is solely responsible for ensuring the safety of their vehicle and its load. The detection and proper response to brake system malfunctions are paramount, as these systems are critical for controlling multiple trailers. Failure to address a brake issue promptly can lead to loss of control, accidents, and severe consequences, including injury or death. The driver's judgment must be informed by a thorough understanding of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, pertaining to vehicle inspection and maintenance. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it directly aligns with the regulatory requirements for pre-trip inspections and the ongoing duty of a commercial driver to maintain their vehicle in safe operating condition. Specifically, 49 CFR Section 396:11 mandates that drivers perform a thorough pre-trip inspection and report any defects or deficiencies. Detecting a brake system malfunction during this inspection requires the driver to take immediate corrective action, which, according to 49 CFR Section 396:11C, means the vehicle must not be operated until the defect is corrected. This proactive stance prioritizes safety and regulatory compliance above all else. An incorrect approach that involves continuing the trip despite a suspected brake issue represents a direct violation of 49 CFR Section 396:11C. This regulation explicitly prohibits operating a vehicle with known defects that could affect its safe operation. Ethically, it is a dereliction of duty, as the driver is knowingly endangering themselves, other road users, and the public. Another incorrect approach, such as attempting a temporary roadside repair without proper knowledge or tools, also violates the spirit and letter of the regulations. While the intent might be to continue the journey, such actions can exacerbate the problem or create new hazards, and are not a substitute for professional repair as required by 49 CFR Section 396:11C. Furthermore, failing to document the suspected malfunction and the attempted repair in the driver's vehicle condition report, DVR, is a violation of 49 CFR Section 396:11A. Professional decision-making in such situations requires a systematic approach. First, recognize the potential hazard based on sensory input, e.g., unusual sounds pulling to one side, reduced braking effectiveness. Second, consult the FMCSR, specifically those related to inspections and maintenance. Third, prioritize safety and compliance by ceasing operation if a critical defect is identified. Fourth, ensure proper documentation and communication of the issue to the motor carrier for professional repair. This process emphasizes a commitment to safety and adherence to established regulations. Question 17. Market research demonstrates that improper turning is a significant contributing factor to accidents involving commercial vehicles. When navigating a right turn at an intersection with a doubles trailer configuration, what is the most critical consideration for a commercial driver to ensure a safe maneuver and prevent trailer tip-over or collision with roadside obstacles? Option A. Accelerating through the turn to maintain momentum and prevent the trailers from jackknifing. Option B. Executing a wide turn, allowing the lead trailer to swing out into the adjacent lane before initiating the turn, and then carefully guiding the rear trailer through the cleared space. Option C. Completing the turn as sharply as possible to minimize time spent in the intersection and reduce disruption to traffic flow. Option D. Relying solely on rearview mirrors to judge the position of the rear trailer during the turn. Correct answer is B. Executing a wide turn, allowing the lead trailer to swing out into the adjacent lane before initiating the turn, and then carefully guiding the rear trailer through the cleared space. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because the driver of a doubles or triples combination vehicle must anticipate and manage the unique dynamics of multiple trailers during turns, which are significantly different from single trailers or straight trucks. The risk of jackknifing, trailer sway, or striking objects arises from the extended length and articulation points of the combination. Careful judgment is required to ensure the safety of the driver, the public, and the cargo. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it prioritizes adherence to established safe operating procedures for doubles/triples, as mandated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR. Specifically, it aligns with the principles of executing wide turns to provide adequate clearance for all trailers, thereby preventing collisions with curbs, other vehicles, or fixed objects. This proactive strategy minimizes the risk of accidents and ensures compliance with regulations designed to enhance road safety for large commercial vehicles. An incorrect approach that involves cutting the turn too sharply or failing to account for the rear trailer's path is professionally unacceptable. This directly violates FMCSR Section 392.22, which requires drivers to operate their vehicles safely and to avoid hazards. Such an action demonstrates a failure to understand or apply the specific knowledge required for operating doubles/triples, leading to a high probability of an accident. Another incorrect approach, such as relying solely on mirrors without understanding the vehicle's geometry, also fails to meet the standard of care expected of a commercial driver, potentially resulting in a collision and violating the general duty of safe operation. Professional decision-making in such situations requires a thorough understanding of the vehicle's characteristics, including its turning radius and the swing of each trailer. Drivers should mentally rehearse the turn, visualize the path of each trailer, and execute the maneuver deliberately and with sufficient space. This involves looking far ahead, anticipating potential conflicts, and making adjustments well in advance. The decision-making process should always prioritize safety and regulatory compliance over speed or convenience. Question 18. Governance review demonstrates that a commercial driver is preparing to operate a doubles trailer configuration. The driver has access to the manufacturer's specifications for the brake adjustment range for each trailer. Which of the following actions best aligns with regulatory requirements and best practices for ensuring the braking system's integrity? Option A. Conduct a visual inspection of the brake components on the first trailer only, assuming the subsequent trailers are functioning identically. Option B. Verify that the brake stroke on each trailer is adjusted within the manufacturer's specified range, ensuring each trailer's brakes are functioning effectively and proportionally. Option C. Rely solely on the audible indication from the automatic slack adjusters to confirm proper brake adjustment for all trailers. Option D. Perform a quick manual pull on the brake pedal while stationary to gauge the overall braking response, without specific measurement of individual trailer brake strokes. The correct answer is B. Verify that the brake stroke on each trailer is adjusted within the manufacturer's specified range, ensuring each trailer's brakes are functioning effectively and proportionally. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because ensuring the proper adjustment of brakes on multiple trailers in a doubles or triples configuration is critical for safety and regulatory compliance. A failure in one trailer's braking system can have cascading effects, compromising the entire train's stability and control, especially during emergency maneuvers or on varied terrain. The complexity arises from the need to individually assess and adjust each trailer's braking system according to specific manufacturer guidelines and federal regulations, while also considering the interaction between the braking systems of all coupled units. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it prioritizes a systematic, thorough, and compliant inspection process. This involves verifying that each trailer's brake system is adjusted within the manufacturer's specified stroke length range. This ensures that each trailer contributes proportionally to the overall braking effort, preventing premature wear on some brakes while ensuring others are not underperforming. Adhering to these specifications, as outlined in the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, is not only a legal requirement, but also the most effective way to maintain vehicle safety and prevent accidents. An incorrect approach that involves only checking the first trailer's brakes is a significant regulatory and ethical failure. The FMCSR, specifically Part 396, require that all safety-related equipment, including brakes on all towed vehicles, be inspected and maintained. Failing to inspect and adjust the brakes on subsequent trailers directly violates these regulations, creating an unsafe condition and exposing the driver and the public to undue risk. Ethically, this approach demonstrates negligence and a disregard for the responsibility of operating a commercial vehicle safely. Another incorrect approach, such as relying solely on the audible alarm of an automatic slack adjuster without verifying the actual brake stroke, is also a regulatory and ethical failure. While automatic slack adjusters are designed to self-adjust, they can malfunction or become stuck. The regulations require verification of proper brake function, which includes confirming the brake stroke is within acceptable limits. Ignoring this verification step bypasses a crucial safety check and can lead to a false sense of security, masking a potentially dangerous defect. A professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a commitment to understanding and applying all relevant FMCSR pertaining to vehicle inspection and maintenance. This includes consulting manufacturer specifications for each component. When inspecting a doubles or triples combination, the driver or mechanic must adopt a methodical approach, inspecting each trailer individually and thoroughly. If any doubt exists about the functionality or adjustment of a brake system, further investigation and correction are mandatory before operating the vehicle. This proactive and diligent approach ensures compliance, promotes safety, and upholds professional responsibility. Question 19. System analysis indicates that after coupling a doubles trailer combination, a commercial driver has completed the physical connection of the airlines and electrical cables. To ensure compliance with safety regulations and prevent potential in-transit failures, which of the following actions is the most critical and legally mandated step to perform immediately after coupling? Option A. Rely on the trailer's dashboard warning lights to indicate any issues with the airlines or electrical connections. Option B. Perform a functional test of the air brake system to detect any leaks in the airlines and verify proper application and release of brakes on all trailers. Option C. Briefly tug on the airlines and electrical cables to confirm they are securely attached. Option D. Visually inspect the airlines for any obvious damage or kinks and ensure the electrical connectors are seated firmly. The correct answer is B. Perform a functional test of the air brake system to detect any leaks in the airlines and verify proper application and release of brakes on all trailers. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because the driver is under pressure to complete a task quickly, potentially leading to a lapse in critical safety procedures. The coupling of a doubles or triples trailer combination involves multiple airlines and electrical connections, each of which must be correctly secured and tested to prevent catastrophic failures on the road. The risk of a trailer detaching, brake malfunction, or electrical system failure is significantly elevated if these checks are not performed meticulously. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it directly addresses the regulatory requirements for pre-trip inspections after coupling, as mandated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, in the United States. Specifically, 49 CFR Section 392(7) requires drivers to ensure that all safety-related equipment, including airlines and electrical connections, is in good working order before operating a commercial motor vehicle. Thoroughly checking for leaks in airlines and ensuring secure electrical connections prevents equipment failure, protects the driver and the public, and upholds the ethical responsibility of operating a CMV safely. An incorrect approach of only visually inspecting the airlines without performing a functional test for leaks is a regulatory failure. The FMCSR require more than just a superficial check. They necessitate confirmation that the system is functioning correctly. Failing to test for leaks means a potential problem could go undetected, leading to brake failure or other critical issues. Similarly, assuming electrical connections are secure without physically checking them or testing the associated systems, like lights or ABS, is a failure to meet the spirit and letter of the regulations. This assumption bypasses a crucial step in ensuring the entire trailer system is operational and safe. Another incorrect approach of relying solely on the trailer's warning lights to indicate a problem is also a failure. While warning lights are indicators, they may not illuminate for all types of leaks or connection issues, and they do not replace the driver's responsibility to perform a comprehensive inspection. Professional decision-making in such situations requires a systematic approach. Drivers should follow a documented pre-trip inspection checklist that specifically includes steps for verifying airline integrity, e.g., applying brakes and checking for leaks, and confirming secure electrical connections. This checklist should be based on regulatory requirements and manufacturer recommendations. When time is a constraint, drivers must prioritize safety over speed, understanding that a few extra minutes spent on a thorough inspection can prevent accidents, costly repairs, and potential harm. The driver's primary responsibility is to operate their vehicle safely, and this includes ensuring all coupled equipment is functioning as intended before commencing their trip. Question 20. The evaluation methodology shows that a commercial driver is preparing to operate a doubles trailer combination. During the pre-trip inspection, the driver notices that the fifth wheel on the tractor appears to be in good condition with no visible cracks or significant wear. However, the driver does not physically attempt to engage or disengage the locking mechanism of the fifth wheel, nor does the driver check the kingpin for proper seating and locking. The driver proceeds with the assumption that if there's no obvious external damage, the coupling is secure. Which of the following actions, if taken by the driver, would represent the most thorough and compliant approach to inspecting the fifth wheel coupling device? Option A. The driver performs a quick visual check of the fifth wheel and kingpin for any obvious signs of damage, then moves on to inspect other components. Option B. The driver physically attempts to engage and disengage the fifth wheel locking mechanism to ensure it operates freely and securely locks onto the kingpin, and visually confirms the kingpin is fully seated and locked within the fifth wheel jaws. Option C. The driver relies on the absence of visible external damage to the fifth wheel and kingpin, assuming the locking mechanism is functioning correctly. Option D. The driver only inspects the fifth wheel on the tractor and does not check the coupling device on the first trailer, as it is considered a separate unit. The correct answer is B. The driver physically attempts to engage and disengage the fifth wheel locking mechanism to ensure it operates freely and securely locks onto the kingpin, and visually confirms the kingpin is fully seated and locked within the fifth wheel jaws. Explanation. The evaluation methodology shows that a commercial driver operating a doubles or triples combination vehicle faces a significant implementation challenge during the pre-trip inspection of coupling devices. This challenge stems from the critical safety implications of improperly secured or damaged coupling mechanisms, which can lead to catastrophic trailer separation, accidents, and severe consequences. The sheer number of connection points in a doubles/triples configuration amplifies the risk, demanding meticulous attention to detail and a thorough understanding of the specific components involved. The correct approach represents best professional practice because it aligns directly with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, FMCSR, governing commercial vehicle inspections. Specifically, 49 CFR Section 396. 11 mandates that drivers perform a pre-trip inspection to ensure the vehicle is in safe operating condition. For coupling devices like fifth wheels and pintle hooks, this includes verifying that the locking mechanism is fully engaged, the jaws are not cracked or excessively worn, and the kingpin or lunette eye is properly seated and secured. A comprehensive inspection of the locking pin, safety chain, and any other securing devices is also essential. Adhering to these detailed requirements ensures the integrity of the connection between vehicles, preventing detachment, while in transit and upholding the driver's responsibility for vehicle safety. An incorrect approach that involves a cursory visual check without physically manipulating or testing the coupling device's locking mechanism is professionally unacceptable. This failure constitutes a violation of 49 CFR Section 396. 11, as it does not constitute a thorough inspection. Ethically, it demonstrates a disregard for the safety of the public, other motorists, and the driver themselves, as a compromised coupling device poses an immediate and severe hazard. Another incorrect approach, such as relying solely on the absence of obvious external damage to the fifth wheel or pintle hook, is also professionally deficient. While external damage is a red flag, it does not guarantee the internal locking components are functioning correctly. The regulations require verification of the locking mechanism's engagement, not just its appearance. This oversight can lead to a false sense of security and a critical failure in transit, violating the spirit and letter of the safety regulations. A third incorrect approach, which involves inspecting only the primary coupling device, e.g., first fifth wheel, and neglecting the coupling devices for subsequent trailers in a doubles or triples configuration, is a grave regulatory and ethical failure. The FMCSR apply to the entire vehicle combination. Each coupling point must be inspected with the same rigor. Failing to inspect all coupling devices means the driver is not fulfilling their pre-trip inspection obligation under 49 CFR Section 396. 11 for the entire combination, significantly increasing the risk of a coupling failure on any of the trailers. A professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a systematic, checklist-driven approach to pre-trip inspections, as outlined in the FMCSR and often supplemented by carrier-specific procedures. Drivers must understand that safe operating condition requires more than just a glance. It demands active verification of critical safety systems. When in doubt about the functionality of any component, especially coupling devices, the driver must err on the side of caution, report the issue, and refuse to operate the vehicle until it is rectified. This proactive stance prioritizes safety and regulatory compliance above all else.